Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning, wonderful people. Welcome to the market caller for today, the 27th of April 2026. We're excited to have you all here on the live market caller as we commence this week, and which is going to also be the last week of this particular trading month. Welcome once again to the market caller. My name is CJ, and I'm going to be taking you through the first part of the market caller. I'm not here alone, of course. I'm here with Abby, Cynthia, Lekon, and Demola. We're going to be taking you together on the market caller, where we'll be analyzing major currency pairs and indices, as well as synthetic indices assets, so that you can get clarity on the direction of the market for the day and possible trades that we're going to be taking today as well. So sit tight and enjoy the rest of the market caller, whether you're watching us from London to New York, Lagos, Tokyo. You're welcome once again to the market caller. Let us dive straight into the market caller as we proceed with today's trading analysis. Starting off our analysis on gold against the dollar. Now, we are very concerned with what has been happening on gold. Last week we began the week with a bullish prediction, and we ended the week with a bearish bias. But right now, seeing what is happening on gold, we're expecting some pullback to the upside from the current level where gold is. So we're expecting bullishness on gold to resume as we are resuming this week. So looking at what gold is already doing on the long run, we would still expect it to trade further downwards. But then right now, seeing that it has retraced properly after the last bullish run, we're expecting it to resume bullishness moving forward. So you can see the retracement right here. It's much more clear on the 4-hour time frame as we switch. So you can see also here on the 4-hour time frame, since the last bullish run, we're expecting another set of bullish run to the upside for gold this morning. So we want to see that buy on gold that is going to trade all the way to this place. At least we're looking at somewhere around here, which is the box pattern right here. So if we're looking for another round of sell on gold, then this particular region would be our target. So in that regard, short term, we're expecting gold to trade all the way to this level here. So can get rid of this. All right, so this is what we're expecting to play out on gold. We want to see price make this move from here all the way here, then a sell-off afterwards. All right, so the sell-off might continue all the way to the downside. So this is what we're looking out to seeing on gold this morning. All right, and for this week mostly, we want to see trade all the way here, take out this liquidity reside here, and then sell off to the downside. Now for the immediate trade, we're looking to see gold buy this morning. We're looking for a gold buy this morning. We had a quick retracement somewhere around 6 a.m. GMT +1. We want to see a resumption on the buy on gold back to the upside this morning. So let's gear up for that. Once we see price giving us a good entry signature. In fact, one of the places I wanted to see price buy from on the 1-hour time frame is this particular level where price is, because we had two fair value gaps to the left and to the right hand side. So this particular place is a good place for a gold buy. So you can look for an entry signature that you will use to enter a buy, and then you buy in gold to the upside. So my overall bias for today is a buy on gold, and we're expecting it to continue buying all the way to the upside. That is my expectation on gold this morning. So I'm bullish, and I'm guessing an entry from around here. Entry could be in form of an engulfing candle or a variation pattern, which could be a morning star or an evening star, but an evening star, a morning star. Sorry for mixing that up. We're expecting a morning star pattern on gold this. All right, so that is what we're looking out for, a buy on gold all the way to the upside. Now, the next pair we're going to be analyzing this morning is the yen basket. So we hope we're clear on gold. We're buying gold this morning and we're riding it all the way to the upside. Now for the yen baskets, we're expecting it to give us a pullback into this region and a sell-off. It has been stalling, but overall, we're still expecting that pullback to the upside and then a sell-off. So in that regard, we're expecting a buy on the yen basket, as we're expecting sells on GBP JPY and Euro JPY. Okay, so looking at GBP JPY starting off, we can see that GBP JPY look to have peaked around this region, and we're expecting a sell-off. This is where we're still expecting it to All right, sorry about that break. All right, so for GBP/JPY, we're expecting it to trade all the way to this level somewhere around here, and then we'll be looking for the resumption on the buy. So for GBP/JPY, we're bullish. We're expecting it to keep buying to the upside all the way here. That is what we're expecting for GBP/JPY. So a sell off and then they buy back to the upside. Today for GBP/JPY, I'm big on seeing GBP/JPY sell after seeing it retrace to this region here. Gave us kind of a box pattern after taking out this liquidity. So I'm very bearish on GBP/JPY this morning. Now that we're looking forward to seeing a confirmation because we're already late at this point, you can get a GBP/JPY sell from somewhere around here, seeing that we just had an engulfing pattern right there playing out right before our eyes. So we can get GBP/JPY sell off 1:3 targets, and then we'll be out of the trade. So we can target somewhere around here. So for GBP/JPY, this is the trade that we're going to be taking today. The sell on GBP/JPY, targeting this low right here as a point of interest for exit. All right, so GBP/JPY trade playing out right before us. The sell of GBP/JPY right here because what we're waiting for has actually played out. We're waiting for an engulfing candle, and then that's played out right before our eyes. So GBP/JPY sell is a go. If you're on your chart, you can take that trade if it sits well with you. So we're going to be sending it to the market color group shortly so that everyone can take it as well. Then lastly, Euro/JPY. Euro/JPY is also playing out accordingly. We're expecting a sell on Euro/JPY, and then we're expecting it to keep running to the downside. But with our current exposure on GBP/JPY, which we're going to be taking right immediately after this market color session, we'll be waiting on Euro/JPY to give us more of a confirmation before we take the sell. Because if you look at it from the daily time frame, it has also peaked as well. We're expecting it to sell off all the way to this midpoint right here. So for Euro/JPY, we'll be pausing on the trade and coming back to take it later on. But for now, GBP/JPY is our target, and we're going to be taking that trade, riding it to the downside. But if you still have a bias for Euro/JPY, then you can also look for a place to get an entry somewhere around here using an engulfing candle or a variation pattern, right? So this is all we have for Euro/JPY today. So Euro/JPY sell, GBP/JPY sell, and then gold buy. This is my view on what we have on the market right now. Okay, so quickly we're going to be proceeding with the analysis as we look at gold against, we're going to be looking at the dollar index, and we're going to be looking at GBP/USD and Euro/USD. And to share our bias on that, we're going to be having Cynthia here with us to give us her analysis on the pairs I just mentioned. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, CJ. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second phase of today's analysis. That was such an insightful analysis from CJ. So we'll just be going to the chart to see what DXY, Euro/USD, and GBP/USD has for us. And I'd like to say that kindly take note of the various price points that we're calling out so that you'll be right on time to take these entry positions that are being called during the session. So on the weekly time frame for DXY, we've been looking at this point of interest for a while now, 107.143, for price to retrace right back into that level before continuing the sell. But at this point, price is being caught up in a range. Right, it's been caught up in a range, but something to take note of, I can actually spot classic box pattern right here for the buy of the DXY. Shoulder on the weekly time frame, of course, there's a sharp sweep to the downside and a break to the upside. We may see price buying aggressively to this point over a long period of time, right, to our point of interest for a sell. So once price retraces and taps into 98.025, we may see a continuation of this buy, retracing all the way to this left shoulder at 107.143. However, on daily time frame, let's see what price has for us. On daily time frame, we analyzed that we're looking out for buy opportunities last week, and DXY actually bought a bit. But what we're expecting today and into the rest of this week, there's the classic box pattern that price actually traded into 97.303, shoulder sweep to the downside, break to the upside, price tapped into this level and shifted to this level, right? So I'm actually looking out for price to trade and break above this high, the high at 100.334, right? This sell is just a retracement for the continuation of the buy on the XY. Kindly take note that we are still bullish on the XY, right? We're looking out for a sell to buy. And on the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing that most recent price action seems to be bullish. And this sell-off is just for price to retrace into this level, this other block right here for the continuation of the buy. And my first take profit will be this high at 98.575. And we're just going to be riding the XY all the way to the upside once price does what it wants to do. However, on the 15 minutes time frame, I can actually spot a classic box pattern for the continuation of the buy. Shoulder right here at 98.025, sweep to the downside, break to the upside. Once price retraces, so there's one more push to the downside before the continuation of the buy on the XY. Please take note of the point of interest, 98.025. Once price retraces there, I'm willing to long the XY. On Euro USD, the weekly time frame, I've been looking at this point for a while now. Eventually, price should trade into this level. And where are we looking at? 1.06763 shoulder sweep break. Once price returns into this level, we actually want to buy Euro USD. However, right now, price is being caught up in a range, but something very funny is happening right here. The classic box pattern on the weekly time frame, shoulder at 1.17560. We've seen a sharp sweep to the upside and a break to the downside, and price is currently at left shoulder. We should be warming up for a brief sell of Euro USD on the weekly time frame. And where's our TP going to be? Of course, if you're willing to hold this for a period of time, your TP should be at this left shoulder at 1.06763. Since we're looking out to buy Euro USD long term once price retraces into this level, but for this week and for today, price is currently sitting at this left shoulder for the sell of Euro USD on the weekly time frame. Coming down to the daily time frame, price has taken out this previous low at 1.15754. We traced into this level, and we may see the continuation of the sell. We should see the continuation of the sell on Euro USD on daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame also, price has broken structure. What we're seeing right now is a retracement, retracing into 1.17475. Why? There's another block right here. There's another block right here that price should tap into before continuing the sell on Euro USD. I'm looking out for a buy to sell. One more push to the upside on 1.17475. And I want to short Euro USD on the 4-hour time frame. Let's look out for entry signatures on the 15 minutes time frame. There's one right here, classic box pattern. It even coincides with a markup from the 4-hour time frame. Shoulder at 1.17475. Sweep to the upside, break to the downside. I want to sell Euro USD. Once price gets into this level, I want to short it. I don't want to long it. I want to short Euro USD at this price point. Again, reiterating for people who didn't get it, I want to short once price taps into 1.7475 on the 15 minutes time frame for Euro USD. And finally, on GBP USD, the weekly time frame, right? We'll be looking at this point of interest. Price should come here eventually and, continue the buy on the weekly time frame. On daily time frame, however, price has broken structure, right? And we should see GBP USD selling all the way to the downside. And of course, price is still at this level, right? It hasn't broken below this point, price is currently trading within this left shoulder on daily time frame, 1.35425. You should see a reasonable amount of some sell to the downside on GBP USD on daily time frame. In 4-hour time frame also, in 4-hour time frame, it is not so obvious, it is dubious, right? So we've seen that price is quite crappy, but then we've seen that this low right here at 1.34886 has been taken out. We've seen price retracing. It's more like caught up in a range on the 4-hour time frame, right? However, on the 1-hour time frame, let's see, there should be something really clearer. On the 1-hour time frame, we're seeing that price has broken out of the range to the upside. I'm not so clear on what price wants to do on GBP USD, but I'm looking out for some opportunities to short. But at this point, on the 15 minutes time frame, what's going on right now is that price is presently at this shoulder level, shoulder sweep break, return. We should see some sells to the downside. So there's an entry right here. You could short, even though you could short GBP USD and see how it plays out. Shoulder at 1.34525, sweep to the upside, break to the downside. Price is currently sitting at the shoulder, and we can actually short GBP USD and see what happens with it. With that being said, I've come to the end of my market color session. Lekon, what are you seeing in the synthetics market? I'm looking out to take opportunities from your own analysis.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Good morning, and good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to the market column brought to you by the Value Flow Trading team. All right, so right now we'll be going into the synthetic. The market has been a bit quiet all throughout the weekend, and right now we've just been waiting to see where exactly are we heading to, what exactly is playing out in the market because of the range that we've been caught up in. Right, starting with VIX30 index, VIX31S. So our POI is actually this low that we mark sometimes few weeks ago, and on Friday price has triggered the whole place since Wednesday, last week Wednesday, but we've not seen liquidity to push all the way up, and we are targeting just about 1:2, all right, but right now price has just been in a very strong consolidation here. So it's just for us to hold the trade and see what becomes of VIX31S. So that is what we're expecting to see on VIX31S, to see exactly what becomes of price moving forward. All right. Now, moving to VIX751S. Now, VIX751S also, we have our level marked out as we are expecting price to pull all the way back to this zone, and we are going to start buying. But right about now, we've been seeing how that price has just been, bullish at the beginning, sometimes last week. And on Friday, we've been seeing it pull back. All through the weekend, it's been a sell market all through. And if we go to your 1-hour time frame, I'm actually spotting something on 1 hour, meaning that price is currently more of a midpoint, which is an equilibrium of the swing that we're expecting it to trade into the discount before we start buying. So where price is now, we are still waiting for it to retrace all the way into this fair value gap that was marked at this region. You can see on the 1-hour time frame, and also price to come and take out this liquidity point here. So when price takes out this liquidity point and trades into this fair value gap, then we can begin to long VIX751S. However, I'm already spotting a very sweet sell again if for any reason price push all the way back up to this point. So seeing that if price get to that point, and then two scenarios we are waiting for to see happen, right? There is a very big tussle around this point, and we've seen the aggressive break of that structure, which is just a very clean ball strategy. And as a matter of fact, I have a confluence candle at this zone, which is this particular one here. Okay, so what I'm expecting to see is within this zone also we have a fair value gap. So we have a short move around this zone just for it to play out somewhere like this for us moving forward with time, right? So I'm putting this here just for us to ride it all the way down. But the overall move still remains that we still expect price to come all the way, trade into this particular region that we have here. As price trades here, then we are going to expect a pullback all the way back up again to this zone. And when price get to this zone, and then we now look for a sell. So that is giving us a confirmation of what we've been waiting for, to see price trade into this zone. And this buy is going to be a long buy for us into this particular level. So as it's selling, is giving us an insight to see where we should look out for a buy move moving forward on this particular trade. So I'm of the opinion that there is high tendency we see first a sell to buy, then a buy to sell, because when price get to this zone, we want to start looking for opportunity to sell down once again. All right, so that is it for VIX75 1X. And now moving to VIX75 itself, we've been waiting for a long while for price to come and take out this liquidity point on VIX75. But looking at the whole consolidation that we have since the 23rd of March up to date, we've seen over 1 month consolidation all through for 75 index. Now, what we are waiting for is price coming, taking out this liquidity point, and then pushing all the way back. But as at Friday, we see how that it was a bullish market a bit, even though there is a low liquidity in the market. So what we're expecting now is for price to come back down, and we follow it all the way up again. Yes, I know someone, if you go to your 1 hour time frame, you'll be seeing some more cell structure on the 1 hour time frame. Yes, very true. Looking at this last recent swing and this particular one being the shoulder here, we have the sweep, we have the break, and price coming to this particular point, tapped into this zone and gave us the entry for a sell sometimes few weeks ago. All right, but right now we've been seeing that, yes, I think we did this particular one on Monday, so we did this sell on Monday. However, I'm still of the opinion that we should be patient enough to see price trade into this liquidity point, and we can easily join the buy and follow it all the way up, which is on the higher time frame, the 4-hour time frame. So that is that. And lastly, on VIX25 1S. Now, for VIX25 1S, every structure we mark, is still very much a down move to the a sell to the downside, even right from the daily time frame, which is the 24-hour. So I'm still of the opinion that we should still wait and see price reverse a little bit back, right, the way we see it on the 4-hour time frame. So I'm of the opinion when price gets to this zone, and this is going to be our shoulder, then we can start the short of VIX25 1S right from this particular level, and we are shorting it all the way down, because on the higher time frame we already see price giving a clear market structure shift. So when price pull back to this zone, it's going to be a long ride for us to follow VIX25 1S all the way to the downside. So that is going to be it for us this morning for the synthetic index, right from VIX25 1S, 75 1S, and 31S. So once again, this is going to be a very amazing week in the market. So let's trade cautiously and use our proper risk management strategy. And every opportunity you see, try as much as possible to jump on it. All right. So right about now, we'll be going into the indices market to see what is going on in the indices market, and also what are the opportunities we can also take in the indices market this morning, as we have Demola on board for the indices analysis. Good morning, Demola.
Good morning, Lekon. Thank you for the analysis on synthetic. So we start with indices. We move straight to what is happening in the market. All right, we saw what happened over the weekend, right, with President Trump, the dinner that happened, the gunshot and all of that. Nothing really changed with that news in terms of, actively changing the direction of the market, right? Thank God it wasn't worse than what it was, right? Because if it was like a target or something, that would have, led to serious reaction in the market, either from the vice president or the president himself, right? So, but let's look at what the market is doing this morning on purely technical terms. We've seen the market building up this range. I believe this will lead to, this is building diagonal liquidity. Let me draw that, like a form of diagonal liquidity here being built, right? Which invariably will lead to the market, giving us that push momentum to the upside, clearing all of this form of liquidity in the market. So that's on US 30. On the daily time frame, let's start. On the daily time frame, you can see here that we still have this zone to clear, right? This liquidity zone, external liquidity to be cleared, which also doubles as the previous all-time high or the current all-time high. All right, so we want to see the price break through all of this and then continue to the upside. Although there's still this zone which has not been tested before, and price could as well just come down into this daily order block from which it will now push to the upside. So there are two scenarios. Either we see a sell-off into this zone, and then once price gets into this zone, we start seeing a proper rally to the upside, and the rally won't stop at this high. Instead, what it's going to clear the current all-time high, that's at 50,514.07. So that's where price might want to come into for us to see that clearing of previous high, and then we'll create a new high. All right, that being said, on US 30, on the daily time frame, going to the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We still have a build up of that diagonal liquidity that I just mentioned. On the higher time frame, right, we'll see that happening. And then, like I mentioned, price can as well, dig into this area of interest on the daily time frame. That's order block on the daily time frame, or it's just, breaks this trend line liquidity, and then from there we'll see the journey to the upside, creating a new all-time high. On the 1-hour time frame, what do we have now on the intraday basis? On the intraday basis is still in a consolidation. All of this drama here, you just have to wait and then ensure you're taking the right step in the market, right? This is like a form of consolidation, and already, if you don't, we don't take trades when the market is in a consolidation phase. What we do is to wait for a breakout either to the upside or to the downside. That will give us much more confidence, to take trade in the market. So that's what we do this morning into New York session. Hopefully by New York session, I believe the markets will have given us more price action that we can now use to make more informed decision in the market. Right now, what we have is just the start of the day. There's no need to rush. There's no need to, be hasty in the market. We still have enough to do, right? Looking at sales opportunities, this have been a very good opportunity to sell this market. But then, as we know, this market is currently in a bullish structure. We have a bullish structure, so it doesn't make sense for us to actively sell now. But I'm just saying that if we were to sell, this is a very good place, right? Because we have a lot of liquidity that's been built, and then price is going to take out this liquidity and then sell into this zone. So that's another possibility. The first one, which is price dot into the daily order block, and then from there we see our bullish momentum to continue to the upside. The second is price actually breaks momentum, breaks this trend line, right? And then takes out all of this diagonal liquidity, and we know we continue from there. The third, which I'm seeing now, is that price actually takes out this zone. Let me draw this layer. So price comes into this bearish order block, takes out this bearish order block, and then what happens next? It's now push to the downside for it to continue our daily momentum that we're looking for, right? Something like this, a sell to buy model into this zone. And then from there, what happens next? Boom, continuation. So there are different scenarios that can happen, but this is just possibility. We wait for New York session to give us that ultimate, decision, right? Want to see clear cut. You just don't want to assume in the market. Want to see clear cut price action that supports any decision we are trying to make in the market. All right, that'll be all on US30. On NAS 100, which is the NASDAQ on the daily time frame, what do we have? The market is bullish. The market is clearly bullish. It's obvious to the blind, even the deaf can hear it, right? So the market is bullish. You can see we're waiting for some form of retracement. Now, will it happen? We don't know. This kind of situation, I don't even try to guess it. Why? Because price is currently in a new area, right? This price discovery. We've never been here before, at least not this year, right? Not last year, right? We are currently on 27,300 on spots, 00-ish level, right? So that's a very good one for the stock market because NAS is basically a basket of stock, right? I'm tracking top 100 tech stocks. So if we want to trade this market now, I would say we look for retracement, right? And then from there, we continue the continuation to the upside. In this type of market, I'm sure you're not looking for sales. If you are, then you're on the wrong side of the market. It is clearly bullish, right? It is clearly bullish. The idea now is to get areas. Okay, this looks like an interesting area. Price we want to come into this entire 1 year. Why? We have some form of inducement here, and then price broke structure, and this is a very good area for price to just come in and then continue, right? Something like this, and then we continue our bullish push to the upside. So because it's in a new area, it can as well just come to this zone, dance around a bit, and then continue pushing to the downside to retrace, right? But I'm saying if you're looking for buys in this market, this is a good area for you to look out for this morning, especially with NAS 100, right? And on S&P 500, moving very quickly, we have almost the same analysis with S&P 500. Why? Price is also in a new area, price discovery, right? And so look at that clean bullish candle, and that's why let me reference back to US30 analysis, and that's why I'm looking out for a buy on US30. Look at US30, it hasn't cleared its own current all-time high. For NAS 100, it has done that. For S&P 500, it has done that. Be rest assured, when US30 is going to do its own, you're going to see long candles. Like long candles are going to be printed, strong momentum candles. So if we can bank on that and then take those moves, we are going to make, we are sure, we're guaranteed making some cool money this week, right? If it does happen this week, because look at these candlesticks, they are very, very, look at the candlesticks. These are daily candlesticks, not even 15 minutes or 1 hour. So meaning we have, and each is about, say, if I'm not mistaken, more than 100 pips. Exactly, 365 pips, just each of those candles. Imagine just getting 200 or 100 pips out of that. No, that's enough for the week if you size it up very well. All right, that being said, on S&P 500, let's continue. We've seen that price has broken its previous all-time high, and we are currently in a new area, price discovery. On the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have the markets pushing to the upside. Is there areas of interest we can use to leverage our buy moves this morning? The only closest area here that's not been tested, okay, even though it has been tested with a week, right, is this one. The risk to reward is really not encouraging, to be fair. This is probably 1:1.5 or 1:2. So I wouldn't want to even take this. I'd rather see what this other, even this is not really encouraging also. This one is 1.1 is to 2-ish, right? S&P 500 is even worse. That's 1 is to 1.5. If you want to even take any trade at all, should be the one on NAS, 1 is to 2 minimum, right? On US 30, we still have a few things to watch out for. We don't have a clear-cut direction for now, so we'll be pausing on that until we see a clear-cut direction. That price coming into our daily order block and then pushing to the upside, or price selling first, right? Price we see a breakout of this zone, takes out this diagonal liquidity, taps into this bearish order block, and then from the bearish order block sells back into our daily order block, which we expect that rally to the upside. All right, so that's pretty much what we have going on US indices this morning. On to the next one, which will be the commodity asset. Abigail will be doing justice to that. I believe she has a lot of stuff for us this morning. Over to you, Abigail. How's the commodity market doing this morning?
Hello, Demola. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome once again to today's market color session. So moving quickly into the commodity currencies market to see the opportunities that present themselves. I'm going to be starting off with a look at AUD/USD on the 4 hours time frame. Now, AUD/USD has been buying for a while. You zoom out to see the overall big picture of this particular asset class. It's just been printing higher highs and higher lows. So having that in mind, I'm expecting more buy opportunities for this particular asset class till a new sunshine is printed somewhere around here. Now, for the sake of those of us who are joining the session for the first time and are wondering what all of these indicators are, this is our indicator-based strategy here at the VFT Academy. If you don't have this installed on your system, just pay attention to the price point that I'll be calling out, right? So AUD/USD is giving me a buy bias predominantly, so I'm expecting more buy opportunities from here. We'll see specific levels where this buy would most likely hold. I would prefer to buy AUD/USD till the new sunshine is printed on the 4 hours time frame. On the 1 hour time frame here, you'd see that we have a previous, this is something we call a shoulder at the VFT Academy. We call this a shoulder. So I'm expecting that price could buy all the way into this zone, print sunshine here, and then start to sell. Well, until it gets there, my bias for this asset class is a buy. Moving into the 5-minute time frame now, you'd see that price did not fully tap into what could have been our first point of interest on the 5-minute time frame before it continued this buy opportunity. However, when you broke through this zone, zooming in, when you broke through this particular level, you see where price came back to retest a key zone, and it has now continued to the buy opportunity. Now, as far as no sunshine is printed on the 4 hours time frame and price gives me a deeper retest, maybe into this zone, this or somewhere around here, I'm going to continue looking for buy opportunities of AU. More buy opportunities is what I'll be searching for. Now, for the points of interest that I've marked out on this asset class, the first one is 0.71658. The second one, 0.71548, 0.71140, and 0.71107. That was too fast for you. It's not an issue. Just you can rewind the session after the market color session is done. So these are now the 4 points of interest that I'm watching out for. I would want to see retracement. Although price may not retrace all into this zone and this zone, it may not come back all the way here before the buy is continued. We may see a retracement back into this previous resistance that could now act as support. So price could do this. And then you see there's a double confirmation here with the momentum indicator. So when price eventually returns in here, I'll take a buy opportunity of AU. But it's going to be more of a scalping opportunity for me, because if I was going to put my stop loss somewhere around here, which should be the protected low, then my stop loss to my possible level of take profits would not really be worth it. So it's going to be a scalping opportunity for me to buy AU into the zone. However, when price continues to buy and breaks through this particular level, then I know that the next major resistance that is going to be standing in the way of this asset class is somewhere around here, which is still a bit far. So I may now allow the trade to run a bit longer. Okay, not even that far, just 30 pips. AU is not the fastest moving asset class. If this zone gets broken through, this is the next point of interest. I'm sure we have or we understand the concept of POIs, if they all get violated, then it's safe to say AUD/USD buy is back in full force. Okay, moving into the next asset class, NZD/USD on the 4 hours time frame. What do we see? Now you're looking at NZD/USD, you can see that price was buying for a long time before we now started to see all of these breaks below. However, zoom in, you see that price has also been breaking structures to the upside. It's been breaking structures to the upside. So price is currently here. This is the next resistance level point that I'm watching out for to see what price does. Keep buying. No sunshine has been printed, so it's telling me that there's still room for NZD/USD to keep buying. On the H1, this is even clearer here. Price is still buying as well. However, I'm not ignoring the fact that we are now having gradual break of structures to the downside. I'm looking at that very much so. Okay, I've marked out, I will mark out certain level point that will serve as my 1 hour POI. That is POI 1, POI 2. So points of interest, one on the 1 hour time frame of NZD/USD is 0.58860. Points of interest 2 is 0.58335. These are the two levels I'm watching out for. Price already retraced into this zone, as you can see here, and it's already buying, but we're still going to hold. Okay, this was a previous price movement. It hasn't retested, so this is still very much valid. If you retrace all the way in here, I'll look for buy opportunities. And if you're a naked chart trader, you'd also see that there's a fair value gap here that's going to close somewhere around here, very close to our points of interest. So there's more confidence or more reason for why NZD/USD should sell and retrace back into this key level. On the 5-minute time frame now, these are my points of interest. Please take note of them. The first one is 0.59073. This point of interest is primarily to serve as a resistance that will push price down. My second point of interest is 0.58819. The third one is 0.58403 and 0.58392. Price has already done this. NZD/USD trade has already been activated. You can see how we came back to retest our key level, and from there it has already done 23 pips. So it's going to keep pushing here, hit resistance, and going to give us another pullback into this momentum or somewhere into the zone. This is a very high probability level that I'm watching out for. When price returns into the zone, I'm going to continue to buy NZD/USD. So my bias for NZD is a buy, same as AU, but I also know that there are resistance levels waiting to push price down. And how will I know those levels would hold? I would know when price, shows certain confirmation patterns. All right, just give me a second to fix something here. I'll be right back. So sorry about that. There was a lot of background noise that I had to take care of. Okay, back to what we were discussing. For USD CAD, we're looking at the H4 time frame. And on the H4 time frame, you can see that price is predominantly, selling downward, breaking structures to the downside. Sunshine has been printed, so I'm expecting temporal buys. USD CAD happens to be my highest probability trade for this morning, and I'll show you why. So USD CAD is currently selling. I want to see you buy into first POI, which is 1.36709. Second point of interest, 1.37507. These are my two levels on H1, but price may take a while before it gets there. So for that reason, I'll be looking at USD CAD on the 5-minute time frame. Now on the 5-minute time frame, these are now my key POIs. You see how much clearer this is compared to AU and NU that are still a bit jumbled up. Well, NU is clearer than AU. Yeah, so POI 1 is 1.36624, and the third one is 1.37134. This happens to have two confluences. So when price eventually returns into this zone, best believe I'm going to be selling this asset class. In fact, before price even returns into this level and I see confirmations on the 1-minute time frame, I am going to take a temporal buy because my strategy allows me to take counter trades. Yeah, so once I see a break and a retest on the 5-minute time frame, just some sort of confirmation, I'm going to quickly scalp USD CAD back into my points of interest before I continue to sell from there. So USD CAD, here's my most preferred trade for this morning. you should take note of that because this is going to deliver all things being equal. Again, one more time for those of us who may have missed any information, POI1 on the H1 is 1.36709, POI2 1.37507. And then when it comes here, confirmation, this is the previous support that could be resistant, we'll continue to sell. If it doesn't hold and it comes here, we'll continue to sell from there as well. And then for the 5-minute time frame, you can look at that on the chart. Okay, I really look forward to every one of us making some beautiful morning. Some of us are already active. For example, the NZUSD trade, which activated, we're already making some coins from this market. With that being said, thank you so much for joining this morning's session. We are going to be sharing a live markup or a live session in the VFT Market Color group. So if you're not in that group and you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you join. Just visit valueflowtrading.com/market color and you're going to be redirected into our Telegram community. And we're also going to reconvene on Friday for a market recap. Also, before I go, not to take so much more of our time, but we have our Forex Bootcamp course coming up next week, the third week of May. So if you've been wanting to learn how to trade, you do not want to miss it. You definitely don't. So send a message to 081 6099 5030 and let us get you on board. Once again, thank you for joining. Have an amazing week. Cheers and God bless. Goodbye for now.